talked about distance wedges, then we talked about total distance, then we talked about curving the ball, which I kind of require my students to know how to do those three, and then we teach you how to flight it down, okay, or flight it up. So now today's video is about trajectories. Trajectories play a key role in your ability to play golf. And there's a nice saying that I like to spread to my students. Good players hit wedges low and drivers high. We're going to talk about how to get wedges low and how to flight your wedges. If you need to hit a wedge high, that's great. We'll show you how to do that. But basically, I like having my players have a stock wedge that's somewhere between 25 and 27 degrees of launch. So here's 90, half of that's 45, half of that's 22 and a half. So we're just talking just slightly higher, you know, in the 25 degree range. I'm going to just hit a couple of initial stock wedges. And we'll get some numbers off the bottom of the machine. So I had a 23.9 degree launch, carry of 108.9. Stock wedges, we shouldn't see that big of a differential. 23.6, 113. So if I just hit a third wedge, and I should have three wedges, 24.6, 108. So the standard deviation of launch angle is within 1.5 degrees, and then as far as the carry distance, they were all within 3 yards of each other. And those are the numbers that you should look for if you are hitting on a TrackMan, or in this case an HD golf, or even a SkyTrack. There are a lot of technologies out there that will offer you the carry distance and then the launch angle. The only other thing that I will look for when I'll do that is the spin rate. So let's suppose I want to launch the ball lower. Things that I would look for, and again, when we see tour players, they're launching their stock wedges somewhere between 25 and 27 degrees. That normally has a slight little draw on it. And what we see with the higher handicaps is because they let out all these angles, they are launching wedges way too high. Anything over 34 degrees would be too high. If I let out all my angles before I ever got to the ball, that's going to launch too high. Why that's important, so that launched at 31 degrees, but it only flew 76 yards. So because I launched it too high, it didn't fly far enough. If I wanted to launch it low, I have to note that I need my hands further forward. Number 2, I need the body turned. Number 3, with wedges especially, I don't mind the spine actually bending a little bit forward. That's what's giving me my down angle. That also allows me to swing more from the inside when I'm hitting wedges. That inside approach, that allows me to get a little bit of a nice little draw. So there's a little 3/4 sand wedge, should be right back in the 112 carry, 21.3 of launch. Again, people are going to launch high because these wrist angles come out, because their tailbone or their spine starts tilting back instead of forward. And if I were to do that, I'm going to let the angles out, and I will go into early extension. Way too high of a launch. It's tough to control spin and distance with that. 35 degree launch, 82 yards. So not only did I lose a lot of yards, I'm not going to be able to control that ball in the wind. So if you are hitting wedges, you know, above 34, I'd say that's too high. Monitor where the pelvis is. Monitor that you're not leaning back too far. And then monitor where your wrist angles are. Every machine does measure slightly differently. But But now I'm right back to my stock wedge where I felt like I was leaning forward. Should be around 114 carry, 23 degrees of launch. How you can practice this on the range is kind of like my chipping setup. I like the ball being a little bit forward. I want people to swivel both feet about 45 degrees, take their trail leg and actually touch the outside of their knee, then just point the handle right at the lead hip. That puts your spine already tilted past the ball. Now you can swing it slightly to the inside and you'll really get a nice compressed low ball. If you've ever seen people hit those low chip shots that have quite a bit of spin on them and they grab the green, that's kind of the recipe to doing that. Again, ball forward, swivel the feet about 45 degrees, trail hand touches the outside of the knee, then actually push some more weight over there so that'll get your spine tilted forward. Short game wise with the grip, I always like the ring joints going under the club, then gripping it. Handle points at my left hip or lead hip. There's a nice low compressed shot, not a lot of wrist action going through that. That way I can maintain the loft of the club and then hence the trajectory of the club also. So pay attention to these wrist angles. We don't want them changing much through impact. And then pay attention to both where is your pelvis and your tailbone, because if it starts to go forward, your spine will start going back too soon. Both of those are going to add too much loft to your wedge game. For Impact Snap, I'm Marty Nowicki. Please hit the subscribe button down below. Click the bell notification. That way when we put out more content, you get notified. Please leave your comments down below because that helps us to create more content for you. Like this video, our ratings go up, and more golfers like you will be exposed to our content. For Impact Snap, thanks for watching.